class. So good morning. Today we're going to take up relationship of percent, fractions, ratios, and decimals. So at the end of this lesson, you are expected to visualize percent and its relationship to fractions, ratios, and decimal numbers using models. It was in the 15th century when the idea of percent began. So, it comes from the Latin word percentrum, which means for every 100. When we say percent, meaning it is per 100. A percent is a ratio of a number to 100. It is represented by the symbol percent. So, ayan makita nyo yung ating symbol ng percent. So, let us have a review before we proceed with our lesson. So, you're going to write the following numbers in colon and fraction form into percent. So, how do we write it in percent? So, 5 is to 100, we write it as 5%. So, nakita nyo yung 5, then we have the percent symbol. Then, 62%, 83%, 47%, and 75%. So, let's read and understand our problem. Luis and Ernie earned 100 pesos for selling junk. They gave 73 pesos to their mother and spent 27 pesos to buy candies. What percent of their earnings did they give their mother? What percent did they spend? So, before we proceed with our problem, let's answer first this question. How did Luis and Ernie earn money? So, how did they earn money? So, they earn through selling junk items or junk materials. How much did they earn? So, they earned 100 pesos. And how did they spend their earnings? So, they divided it for their mother, which is 73 pesos, and 27 for themselves. So, what is us in our problem? So, ang tinatanong natin dyan, una, what percent of their earnings did they give to their mother? Then the second question, what percent did they spend? So, let us visualize our problem. So, we have here 100 squares. So, that is represent 100 pesos that they earned. So, yung nakita nyo dyan shaded part, yan yung inire-represent ng 73 pesos na ibinigay nila sa kanilang mother. At yung unshaded, so i-represent na lang natin yan sa 27 pesos na hinati nila para sa kanilang sariling panggastos. Okay, so as you notice, we have there shaded part 73 squares. So that is the part or the amount that they give to their mother. Now, how do we represent this into percent? So, to represent 73, that is 73%. So, in fraction, that is 73 over 100. So, ang numerator natin dyan, yung 73, shaded part, ang denominator, yung kabuang square. Or 73 pesos yung nabigay kay mother, at sa kabuuan na 100 pesos na kanilang kinita. Then, decimal, so, since 7,300 siya, ang ating denominator ay 100, so dapat sa decimal natin, pag binasa natin, that is also 73 hundredths. Or, ang gagawin nyo lang, mula sa kanan, papunta sa kaliwa, imumove nyo ang decimal point ng 2 beses, papunta sa kaliwa. So, in ratio, we write it as 73 is to 100. Again, how do we change percent to decimal? So, example, we have 27%. Para gawin natin yung decimal, gawin muna natin siya ang fraction. So, yung percent symbol, pinapalitan lang natin ang denominator na 100. Kasi diba, pag sinabi natin percent, meaning per 100. Kaya pagka percent na siya, dapat ang ating denominator lagi ay 100. So, we have 2700. To write it in decimal, that is 2700. So, anong ginawa natin dyan? Again, from right to left, imumove lang natin ang ating decimal point ng 2 places to the left. So, we have now 2700. Now, Another example, we have 50%. So, let's write it first in fraction. Again, ang ating denominator lagi ay 100. Ang ating decimals, move to the right lang, move to the left lang, from right to left, to two movement to the left, ilalagay natin ang ating decimal point. Percent to ratio naman, paano natin yan isinusulat? So, we have 27% since ang ating given ay percent. Yung ating first term, yun yung ating yung number, yun yung ating magiging first term. Yung percent symbol, papalitan lang natin yan ng 100. So, 50%, again, yung number, yung given number, that is our first term, yung percent symbol, which is the second term, papalitan uli ng 100. So, lagi natin siyang papalitan ng 100, yung percent symbol. So, how do we change naman fraction to percent? So, ang sabi dyan, multiply the denominator to any number that can give a product of 100. So, kung ang ating fraction, ang kanyang denominator ay 100, wala na tayong magiging problema kasi automatic yan, papalitan na lang natin yung 100 ng percent symbol. Pero kung ang ating fraction ay ang denominator niya ay hindi 100, katulad nito, ang given natin 2/5. So, ang denominator natin dyan ay 5. So, lagi natin dapat siyang gagawing 100. So, paano natin siya gagawin 100? Mag-iisip kayo lagi ng number na makakapag-multiply sa inyong denominator na magbibigay ng product of 100. So, yung ating denominator, pag i-multiply natin doon sa number na yon, dapat ang magiging sagot niya ay 100. So, dito sa given natin, anong number ba makakapag-multiply sa 5 na ang magiging sagot ay 100? So, that is 20. So, kung 20 yung ipinang-multiply nyo sa inyong denominator, syempre, sa numerator, yun din yung number na gagamitin nyo pang multiply. So, to get the answer, that is 40 100. So, 5 times 20, that is 100. And 2 times 20, that is 40. So, we have now 40 hundreds. Since 100 ng ating denominator, saka pa lang tayo magiging, sa decimal natin magiging 40 hundreds yan. Again, move lang yan to the left ng 2 places, ang ating decimal point. Then, saka na natin siya magagawang percent. Kasi 100 na ang ating denominator. Next, let's have another example. Example, yan, 1525. So, again, ang given natin dyan, hindi 100 ang denominator. So, again, gagawin natin siya laging 100 dapat. O, multiply to the number that can give a product of 100 sa ating denominator. So, that is 4. 25 times 4, that is 100. And 15 times 4, that is 60. So, in decimals, that is 60 hundredths. So, in percent, magiging 60% na siya. So, tandaan ha, hanggat hindi 100 ang ating denominator, hindi natin siya pwedeng gawing percent. Kasi pag sinabi natin percent, ibig sabihin per 100 or per 100. So, we have another example here. 8 times 10, that is 80 hundred. O sa decimals, that is 80 hundredths. So, pag 100 ng ating denominator, pwede na natin siyang gawing percent. So, that is 80%. Write the name for each shaded part as percent, fractions, decimals, and ratio. So, in our number 1, ilan ba ang shaded part natin dyan? That is 78 sa number 1. So, number 2, that is 10, 20, 30, 40, 7. And number 3, we have 36. So, let's write this into percent, fraction, decimal, and ratio. So, to write it in fraction, that is 78 out of 100. So, again, ang numerator lagi natin yung shaded part, ang denominator, yung kabuuang bilang ng square. So, to write it in decimals, that is 0 decimal point 78. So, we read it as 78 hundredths. In ratio, that is 78 is to 100. And then in percent, that is 78%. Number 2, so we have the answer. And number 3, okay. So I hope naintindihan kung paano natin isinusulat ang ating given into percent, fraction, decimals, and ratio. At naiintindihan yung relationship ng fractions, decimal, percent, and ratio. So, using pictures, the pupils will give the percent of the shaded parts to the unshaded part, then change them to fractions, percent, decimals, and ratio. So, nakita nyo yung mga blank dyan, yung mga may kulay dyan. So, number 1 yung yellow, number 2 yung blue, number 3 yung fuchsia pink, number 4 yung green, number 5 yung, anong kulay ba to? Parang orange. Okay. So, ang gagawin nyo dyan, class, for each item, for each number, you're going to write the shaded part into percent, decimals, fractions, and ratio. Siyempre, ang denominator lahat niyan ay 100 squares. Okay? So, madali lang yung gagawin nyo kasi ang denominator nyo dyan ay 100 na. Okay? Again, let's recap our lesson. What is the relationship of percent to fractions, decimals, and ratio? So, percent may also be written as a decimal number. To change percent to decimal, write the percent as a fraction. Then, divide the numerator by the denominator. So, bukod sa pag-move natin ng decimal point from right to left ng dalawang beses, ang percent, pwede rin natin siyang isulat into decimal by dividing. So, paano tayo magdi-divide? So, divide the numerator by the denominator. So, makukuha din natin yung percent. Another way of changing percent to decimal, change percent symbol to decimal point, then move it twice to the left. So, katulad nung kanina ipinakita natin, imumove lang natin papunta sa kaliwa, mula sa kanan papunta sa kaliwa yung decimal point ng dalawang beses. Then, percent is a ratio with 100 as the second term. So, kapag ang given natin ay percent na, yung given number represent the first term, then yung percent symbol represent our second term, which is always 100. So, for your formative test, write the given percent as a fraction in simplest form. So, itong mga given percent, gagawin nyo lang fraction. Then, sa kabilang column, write it in simplest form or in lowest term. So, ilo-lowest term nyo lang ang inyong fraction. Paano ba tayo ilo-lowest term? So, we divide it by the GCF. Or, i-divide natin sila doon sa number na makakapag-divide sa kanila pareho ng eksakto. Okay? So, that's all, class. Thank you. I hope you understand our lesson. God bless you all. Bye!